Hello everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're going to go ahead and review a fragrance that has flown under my radar as many fragrances have, but this one flew under my radar because I just never heard a lot of people talk about it, and I decided to go ahead, let me go ahead and review this one just because I was curious for my own sake. The fragrance we're talking about today is called B-Men from the house of Thierry Mugler. Now, B-Men is the, pretty much the second coming of Angel Men. The creator of the house basically loved superheroes growing up, hence the reason why he named it Angel Men, or A-Men, Angel Men. And B-Men was the second one that came up, in the line. But it's always never really gotten much play in the community, and I really wanted to test my eyes or get my nose on it and test it. So the fragrance itself, it's available in two main sizes. The bottle design is very similar to the Angel Men, same design and all, it's just a very different colorway as you saw in the picture below. It's available in two main sizes, a 3.4 and a 1.7. 3.4 is going to run you around $100 retail, and the 1.7 about $65, $70 retail. Shop around for it. You may have a little bit of trouble getting it because I don't think you can get off the main website, so do some looking and you're bound to actually find it. So with that, let's go ahead and start right into the notes of this fragrance. The notes of this fragrance consist of spices, leather, patchouli, musk, violet, vanilla, vetiver, anise, cedar, and licorice. So one thing that I'd gotten, or one thing that I'd heard about this fragrance, was that it was a scent that was heavy on rhubarb. Now, I don't really get rhubarb from this fragrance, but I do get a very warm and spicy scent coming from it. Along with the spices, I also get a hint of licorice in the background. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of licorice or anise. I don't really like the smell. I don't really like the taste of those licorice Twizzlers or anything like that. They've just never really caught my eye. But still, the way that the licorice is used in this is a very pleasant kind of undertoning to it. It gives it a little bit of a kick to it. Not too big, but just enough to kind of make it a little bit noticeable. Now, outside of the spices, I would actually name this, and I saw this posted by a couple people, I would actually call this, or nickname this, pure spice, as opposed to anything else, because this fragrance is all about spices. It's a soft spice that kind of envelops you. It's warm, it's inviting, it brings you in. The vanilla kind of brings it up a little bit more, and the fragrance really shines in that aspect. The violet leaf kind of comes in for it too, but if I was to describe this fragrance, sorry about that. Anyways, if I were to describe this fragrance, it would be a warm, spicy fragrance that's got a little bit of sweet undertonings to it. One of the things that's interesting about this fragrance is as the fragrance develops on your skin, you get a little bit more of different notes kind of coming through it. Like you get a little bit of violet, a little bit in it, and then you start to get maybe more of the spices at one point. Another point, you get a little bit more of kind of like a woody note. I don't really get too heavy of a leather note, though I can detect it just a little bit, but I don't think it's prevalent. I don't actually get a rhubarb note from this, so mine may be a little bit different than others, but I don't really get that aspect. So in summary, I would call this one pure spice. It has that trademark patchouli and chocolatey vibe from the Angel Men series, as most people are accustomed to. So that's kind of like the linking factor between this fragrance and the other Angel Men fragrances. So I go about 3 sprays for this fragrance. I think it's a great fragrance for anyone who's got a little bit more of a mature vibe, just because of the spices that come along in the scent. It's a versatile fragrance. You can wear it for a lot of scenarios. You can wear it to work. You can wear it going out. You can wear it casually. You can wear it on a date. I think it shines on that aspect, but I also kind of think it's one of its weaknesses, and I'll touch upon that a little bit later. But you can pretty much wear it on any scenario like that. And the performance on this, I'm getting about 7 hours. The projection on this, it's a little bit weird. This one gives you olfactory fatigue easily, which basically means your nose gets tired of the scent pretty quickly and you may have trouble detecting it. But trust me, it's still there. Even though I suffered from that fatigue from it, people were able to definitely smell it on me and give me some compliments at times for the scent, which was pretty good. So it lasts about 7 hours on my skin, and I would say the projection is decent even though that you can't smell it. Sorry about the drink. So compliment factor on this one, I would say is a pretty good compliment factor, just because people were able to smell me and compliment me on the scent. They thought that it was a very manly scent, is one of the main things that they said. And when prompted and when prompted for people how they actually thought of it, it thought that it was a manly scent, and they thought that it was a very mature scent, but at the same time, they said that they weren't able to place it, which gives it a unique quality to it. All right? So if I'm going to go ahead and give this fragrance a rating, I give it a rating an 8 out of 10. Now, it gets an 8 out of 10 because it still has this spicy, Angelman-like vibe, but at the same time, it kind of remains a unique type of a fragrance to it. It kind of sounds like a couple of fragrances that I'm thinking of in my head, but it doesn't smell quite like it. It has its own unique vibe to it. The sweetness kind of tames it down, gives it this little playfulness. Without that sweetness, I don't think it would be a very good fragrance, but it does have that. And I would say it's also, I touched upon it, but it's also a unique fragrance in its own right. The bad parts of it is that, number one, it's expensive for what it's worth. I think that you can find similar fragrances for a little bit cheaper, and in my opinion, a little bit better for it. But it's still a great fragrance in its own right. I don't want to knock it too much for that. The second thing is, it's hard to find. It's been out for a while, but this is a little bit of a ghost, and you want to really be careful of fakes, because they're definitely out there for this one at this point. All right? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free. Send me a message, leave me a note, do whatever you got to do. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and have a great day. Oh yeah, also, tell me what your thoughts are on B-Men. I'm always curious to see who got a hold of this and what they think of it. All right? Take care, guys.